Epilogue, Homo Interneticus. Lenin once said that imperialism is the final phase of capitalism. He was wrong. The final phase of capitalism, its bottomless final frontier, is the public unfolding of the private, individual psyche. It is a mode of being in which the individual has learned to retail his privacy as a public performance, as a public transaction. A real social situation, even when people are not talking to one another, is full of faces and objects caught sight of, gestures seen, sounds heard that keep communication going. But these sights, sounds, gestures that keep communication going also serve as barriers to what you can express. You cannot be totally yourself. There are too many concrete inhibitors. They keep drawing you outside yourself. They are not familiar, and you are not at ease with them. So many palpable unknowns and variables make you guarded. That is what it means to be in public. And you yourself are there, physically present, visible. People can see where you begin and end. You cannot speak out of your own mental image of yourself, because your image of yourself, like everyone's image of himself, is of a person without limitations, and without end. So you have this private sense of yourself as boundless, yet there are the bounded people before you, who speak to you also as a bounded person. You have to meet them halfway. Therefore you do not express yourself, which means that you are thinking only about yourself. You communicate, which means that you are thinking about yourself and about another person or other people, and about the environment, and the circumstances, and possibly the history you all share. Once you are online, however, you don't have to be communicating with anyone in particular. Just being online means that you are communicating with everyone in general. Ads pop up, spam comes in. If you are a blogger, you are being linked to. Search engines pick up on what you post. Email waits to be opened. You are being asked questions. Can Pretty Boy save boxing? Should Paris go to jail? Do you know your credit score? Gradually, on email, on your blog, on eBay, on JDATE.com, by hook or by crook, the ghosts in your machine, other people, throng closer to you. But they are not people. Sitting alone in front of your computer, online, you find yourself in a social situation that has been privatized, customized, you might say, for your own personal use. The social situation has been dissolved into your head. There are no physical reminders of where the other presences online begin and end. There are no concrete inhibitors. And because you are alone, without bounded people, or a definite environment, or delineated circumstances, because there is nothing to remind you that you yourself have limits, you can express yourself out of the infinite conception you have of yourself. No wonder magical thinking has become such a popular term. The other people-like presences exist infinitely, too. The presence in a chat room, the blogger you are linking to, the words on a screen you are having a heated exchange with online, the man or woman you are seducing online, they are not, like the physical people you actually meet, finalities that mark the limit of where your desire can lead them. You are not responding to the inflections of a voice, or to the fluctuating signals of a real presence. Yet you are not writing, either, because you lack the autonomy and detachment that accompany the act of writing. The other presences online exist too much in your head to be authentic human presences. Yet their phantasmal pressure on you as you interact with them makes you too responsive to them to be genuinely writing. Rather, the people you encounter on the internet are half people and half building blocks for your fantasies. You yourself fill in their pixelated or digitized blanks. You yourself breathe life, like a god, into the ghosts in the machine in front of you. They are at the mercy of your mouse, of your interrupting, blocking, or disconnecting finger. They are at the mercy of what you want to do with them. Forward her to a friend. For there are no disinterested feelings on the internet. You don't go online not knowing what you will find. You go online to write an email, to open an email, to search for specific information, to find the latest news, to buy something, to meet someone, to converse about politics, to join in commenting on the topic of the second. You never enter the internet as you would enter a park, or go onto the street, or browse through a bookstore. You don't go online to just go for a walk, not knowing what you'll find or who you'll meet. You go online to look for something. Everyone you meet online is looking for something, too. The internet is the most deliberate, purposeful environment ever created. On the internet, an impulse is only seconds away from its gratification. Everyone you encounter online is an event in the force field of your impulses. The criterion for judging the worth of someone you engage with online is the degree of his or her availability to your will. As Al Cooper, a psychologist who studies the internet, puts it, there is little difference between thought and internet-enabled action. The internet provides immediate gratification that affects one's ability to inhibit previously managed drives and desires. In other words, the internet creates the ideal consumer. Such absolute liberation from constraints is why anonymity is so widespread on the internet, and why everything on the internet tends toward anonymity, the hidden solitude of sitting before the screen. The spectral half-person presence of being online. The sense of yourself and of other people as having no boundaries. After expertise, authority, and merit have fallen away as obstacles, identity remains the last barrier to the vicarious, acquisitive, totally accessing, fully participating internet will. Anonymity, you might say, is the internet's ultimate identity. If you are not who you are, you can be anyone you wish to be. The husband and father can be a fleet-footed single man. The political operative can assume an innocent non-partisan voice. The blogger can throw his mediocrity into a tantrum of entitlement and tower over the famous novelist. Identity is the last inhibitor to previously managed drives and desires. Once you can shift in and out of different lives, you can shift in and out of different markets. Delbert Babenko is my alias in Second Life, a complete, self-contained virtual community. Over 8 million people now belong to this online world. They hold jobs, create businesses, buy and sell land and other commodities, and build houses. Second Life has its own economy, its own marketplace, and its own currency of exchange called Linden dollars. A lot of people have begun selling their Linden dollars for real dollars and make a decent living in their virtual world. Book editors are even publishing novels based on the fictional experiences of Second Life inhabitants. Delbert is my own choice, by the way, but I picked Babenko out of Second Life's list of last names. You're allowed to choose your own first name, but you have to get your last name from Second Life. If you happen to see my avatar tall, brown hair, black sneakers, and a red fedora, come over and say hi. Just right-click on my avatar to get the essential information about me, my age, birthplace, goals in life. Well, Delbert's essential information, anyway. In Second Life, work and play are fused into a seamless whole. You are diverting yourself and making money all at the same time. By participating in this world, you are consuming its goods and services, and by consuming, you are also helping Second Life to produce its fantasy business. Second Life is a Tofflerian paradise. In fact, being in Second Life is really like being on the internet, which might just as well be called Second Life. Your world, your imagination goes Second Life's motto. Like the internet, when you are in Second Life, you are not in a shared community. You are all alone in your world, your imagination together with other people who inhabit their separate worlds. Connected points of isolation. Second Life is nothing compared to the most common internet experience. Not only has the internet made pornography so popular that it has driven pornographic movies and DVDs to the brink of extinction, but as in other areas of technology, like videos and camcorders, pornography is responsible for many of the internet's advances. Al Cooper, who edited Sex and the Internet, a guidebook for clinicians, writes that a new sexual revolution has commenced with the staggering growth of computers and technology and the exponential expansion of the internet. He adds that even as the web continues its exponential expansion, little is known about how this new medium is affecting sexuality in the United States and around the world. Mark Derry, a committed advocate of the transmogrification of the human through computer technology, happily agrees with Cooper's sense of a new sexual revolution. The intertwisted themes, he writes in Escape Velocity, of eroticized machines, technologically mediated sex, sex with technology, and the rerouting of carnal desires into high-tech orgies of destruction are woven through cyberculture. Unlike Cooper, though, Derry has no sense of a crisis in human relationships. Sex with machines, together with dalliances conducted in virtual worlds, seems a seductive alternative in an age of AIDS, unwanted pregnancies, and sexually transmitted diseases. Cooper sees cybersex differently. The Internet has become an outlet for unresolved sexual difficulties and unfocused sexual energy, including the acting out or repetition of traumatic experiences. It is easy to see how many might choose to hide from their real-world problems through increased or exclusive online interaction. Pornography is no more exclusively about sex than the libido is. Pornography reflects a general way of relating to the world. It collapses public and private. It turns quintessential play into a type of labor. Because it involves the most primal appetite, it has a universal appeal and popularity. The consummate vicarious endeavor, it thrives on and guarantees anonymity. Pornography transfigures other people into instruments of your will, and it strips them of their own ego and desire, so that you can mentally manipulate them without fear of rejection or reprisal. In a sense, pornography and technology are joined at the hip. They both transform the reality outside your head into means whose sole end is convenience. Pleasure is convenience as physical sensation. Technology is a blessing, and a miracle, but it will not lead you to other people as finalities, as ends in themselves existing outside your needs and desires. We all need each other as means. We need each other as instruments of help, sustenance, and pleasure. But without experiencing each other as an end and not as a means, we will lose our freedom to live apart from other people's uses for us, and from ours for other people. The world around us will shrink to ourselves as the only reference point in the world. Yet the world will still be there, but we will no longer understand it. We will no longer be ready for it. Most dangerous of all, we will no longer be patient with it when it fails to fulfill our most superficial, and our most selfish, desires. Technology without human and humane content is a round trip with just one familiar destination. Commenting on the breakthrough of scientists at the MIT Touch Lab, who sent a sensation from Cambridge to a man in London wearing a glove attached to a computer, one radio announcer said, inevitably, then, the fingertip touch the scientists experienced this month will blossom into a full-blown bodysuit. In fact, there are companies working on that right now. That will be the moment when communications technology fulfills its ultimate potential to connect us entirely, antiseptically and without fear of judgment or rejection, with the person we most desire. There is only one person in the world who connects with us entirely, antiseptically, and without fear of judgment or rejection. He is at the very heart of our desire for convenience. He is at the other end of our wrist and finger. The less he needs the actual presence of other people, the more he will depend on goods and services to keep him company and populate his isolation. The more distracted and busy his isolation, the more he will measure people by their capacity to please him, or to gratify him without getting in his face. For the only face he can bear will be his own.